Blacks are arrested 8 times as frequently as whites for marijuana use, yet they use the same amount of marijuana, actually a little less than white people do. Why are they arrested 8 times as frequently? Well, because they're black. I mean, you know, it's like the whole stop and frisk thing. It's all about, hey, that guy looks like he might be a criminal. How do you know? Well, look at the color of his skin. Look at the neighborhood he lives in. He's got to be using drugs. Actually, drug use is lower in the black ghettos, if you want to call them that, the inner city areas, whatever Paul Ryan would call them. Drug use is lower in those areas than it is in the white suburbs. But African Americans are 8 times more likely to be arrested for drug use. And so Washington, D.C. said, enough. You know, we've sent enough of our young African American men to prison. We're not going to do it anymore. It's going to be a $25 fine for smoking. We're not going to decriminalize it. We're not going to open pot stores next to the White House. There's not going to be a pot dispensary in the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History, you know, which would be the one, you know, or maybe there's or in the Smithsonian, what do you call it? The greenhouse, the giant greenhouse. Yeah, the Botanical Garden. Thank you, Jim. I mean, that would be the perfect place, right? They have the Botanical Garden here in Washington, D.C., growing, you know, well, here's, you know, cannabis indica, cannabis americanus or whatever. Yeah, I don't know the different, you know, the genus species, but there's a whole bunch of different ones, right? Of pot and someday, I'm guessing over at the Botanical Garden, they do have hops, you know, to make beer. They probably do have grapes to make wine. And, you know, it'd be kind of cool if they had pot growing there. I remember going to Michigan State University back in the mid 60s. And there was a botanical garden at MSU, and in that botanical garden, they had a pot plant, and it was labeled marijuana. Or actually, it had the botanical name. And typically, about half the leaves were gone. And finally, toward the late 60s, like 69, 70, something like that, they just dug it up and took it away. No longer there. That was hysterical. Louise and I, you know, we were just talking about this like a week ago. This is you know, when we were first dating, when we were young teenagers. Louise was living at home, and I was living out in East Lansing, and we were both under 17 or under 18. And her dad was prosecuting. He was the assistant attorney general for the state of Michigan. He was prosecuting the Licavoli crime family, and so she was living at home, and they had 24-hour state police protection because there had been death threats against her father for prosecuting the mob. And so when she snuck out at night for us to, you know, go out and have fun, she had to not only sneak out of her house, but she had to sneak past the state police, which was wild times. Wow. This is like, it wasn't Beaver Cleaver, I guess, but it was close. I mean, it was a nice little house with a white picket fence, the whole thing. Anyway, so here in D.C., we said, the citizens of D.C. said to the city council, you know, yeah, those of you who ran on decriminalizing pot, not legalizing it, not setting up, you know, stores in the gift shop at the Smithsonian greenhouse thing, the Smithsonian Arboretum. What was the word again, Jim? Botanical Garden. Thank you. Not that, but instead, we're just going to say we're not going to send our children to prison anymore. And Congressman Andy Harris, who isn't even from D.C., says, oh, I'm a doctor, and I get a lot of money from doctors and drug companies, and I don't like pot being even close to decriminalized, so I'm going to reject this. Really, Andy? His Maryland office is 443-944-8624, 443-944-8624, or you can call his D.C. office at 202-225-5311, 202-225-5311. And just, you know, I realize that you probably didn't give a lot of money to Andy Harris's campaign. You know, he got $250,000 from the health industry, the quote healthcare industry. I would call it the sickness industry. Last year, according to OpenSecrets.org. But, you know, as a citizen, the First Amendment gives you the right to petition your representatives. I mean, that's, you know, the Supreme Court is saying, you know, money is speech and the First Amendment and all this. But if you read the First Amendment, it's really, you know, it actually gives you the right to call your member of Congress. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So while you can, you know, if you harass the president of your health insurance, your for-profit health insurance company enough, you could be arrested for harassing them. Or if you stand out in front of their building, you can be arrested for being on private property. But if you call Congressman Andy Harris at 202-225-5311 and say something like, why are you taking drug company money and then trying to keep pot as a felony in Washington, D.C., so that more kids are going to go to prison and have their lives destroyed? Why are you doing that? What kind of hypocrisy is this? That's perfectly legal. In fact, that is exactly what the founders envisioned, that an active and interested citizenry would do in the United States. I don't get what's going on with this guy, other than that he apparently wants to be the chairman of the Republican Study Committee. This guy, Brendan Williams-Keefe, who is the chief of staff of another member of Congress, says that Andy Harris is trying to whip up his own campaign to take over the Republican Study Committee. Great. So some guy wants more power and wants more money from the drug industry, a drug industry that is addicting and killing thousands of Americans every year. So he's going to keep as a felony a drug which has never, ever killed any Americans. Congressman Andy Harris, hypocrite of the week.